ABS, Heartbeat of the East.
Good morning and welcome to Anambra Talks here on ABS Television. When you talk about health, everybody gets jittery. When you talk about health, people get concerned about, their well-being. It's a serious talk, and it's a talk that must be, delved into at one point in your life. And so this morning, IJ, I'd like to start by asking you, are you insured health-wise?
One thing is certain. I know I am healthy. Or as I need as a person. I know I don't have any terminal disease.
Yes.
So I am insured.
So you're so sure that you are healthy?
Yes, I am.
That's Ijoma for you. Well, my name is Ife Onachukwu.
And I'm Ijoma Uche. Welcome.
Together we welcome you to Anambra Talks today, where we're going to talk about national health insurance. Yes, we need to talk about it because for you to have a national coverage health-wise, you need to get insured. Is doing its own health insurance, but nationally, what is Nigeria's plan for her making them healthy, getting health to the ground? So today on the program, yes, we have a very beautiful guest, IJ. Yeah. IJ's look alike.
So I actually saw her say, I don't trust men. For don't work out in Papa Waka because we look very much alike.
Yes, let's introduce her to the audience.
All right, welcome, my dear. She is Mrs. Chinwe Nwakego Anebu. Chinyere Nwakego Anebu. I should know the name of my sister anyway. Okay, and then she's the Deputy Director General, National Health Insurance Authority. She is also the State Coordinator of NHIA.
Health Insurance Agency.
Okay, you're welcome.
Yeah, authority, all right. You're welcome to ABS.
Thank you very much.
Yes, once we heard about national health insurance, we now said, why are these guys not down here in Anambra State? So we want to start by asking you, what the new act of the agency is. What is your mandate?
Yeah, good morning, everybody. I'm privileged and glad to be here. Originally, we used to be called National Health Insurance Scheme. Then recently, the act was amended. We have a new functional act, and we are being called National Health Insurance Authority, NHIA.
Well, that's the change.
Yes, that's the change. And this was, the new act was signed into law 19th of May 2022 by the President. And legally and otherwise, we are NHIA now.
All right.
Thank you.
Okay.
Yeah, I was actually going to ask you that because when I wanted to mention this name, I wanted to say NHIS, Also, it's NHIA now, yeah. Authority. So you have been given the authority over our health.
Yes.
That's what it means.
Yes.
Okay.
So the authority is now driving the scheme.
Well, we have always been in authority, just that we have more mandate and we have more supervisory role as a regulator. We're giving more powers to function fully now.
Okay. Okay. Apart from the change in a name, is there another thing that has been changed about your agency?
The new act actually provides that health insurance is made mandatory for every Nigerian and all legal residents in Nigeria. It's no longer under NHIS where it was optional. If you want to join, if you want to buy, be covered, you're covered. Now it's mandatory for everybody. That's number one. Then the second major content of this new act is that it has given legal backing for establishment of state health insurance agencies. Like in Anambra, we have ASHA. Mm-hmm. So as a regulator, we went ahead and gave powers to states to open their own state health insurance agency, but it wasn't in the act. Okay. But now it's officially in the act, so there's a legal backing to it. third major content of this act is that it has equally given a backing to a fund called Basic Healthcare Provision Fund.
I'm interested in that.
Exactly, which is 1% of the consolidated revenue that has been kept aside since last year, and we've been using it to cover indigent Nigerians. It is backed up by the law now. Thirdly, the NHIA as an organization now has authority to sanction defaulters because we have stakeholders in this field. And otherwise, it had to people do what they want to do, and we didn't have that power to sanction. And you know, without sanction, Nigerians don't sit up. Without sanction, Nigerians don't sit up. So now we've been given right to sanction. And another content of the act is that we have authority now to change our tariff. When I mean tariff, our capitation, our fee for service, we've been given authority to change that every 3 years. And of course, the nomenclature of the chief executive has been changed from executive secretary to director general. So
wow.
That's just to mention a few.
All right.
Okay, now you were talking about having a legal backing, giving legal backing to state agencies.
Yeah.
You know, how do you go about making sure that agencies who actually want to have their health insurance established, that they get through the the rigors and then do it perfectly?
It's a long journey. Like Anambra, you know, is functioning, and not just functioning beautifully well. It's a long process whereby every state, in all the states of the Federation, we have National Health Insurance Authority Office.
Okay.
Which Anambra has one, and which I'm the state coordinator. So in any state where you are, you're supposed to partner with the state government to come up with their own law, because they have to domesticate the NHIA law, to domesticate it in the state, to empower them to be able to set up their own agency. So you midwife them, you give them the rules, we train them, we educate them, we expand their knowledge. You know, it's like one organization, but one is federal, one is state. Exactly. So you midwife them into forming their own law, and we help them in establishing, and we work hand in hand virtually on everything.
Okay, I actually wanted to ask you the partnership between the national and the state agency of this health. Okay, so you work hand in hand. Yeah. Okay, that's one thing you said when you were telling us the changes you have. The first one they said that it's now a must. Everybody must be insured. Yes. What do you mean by that?
You know, SDG stipulates that by year 2030 that we should be able to achieve universal health coverage. And when you talk about universal health coverage, you're not just talking about covering those who can afford it. You're actually referring to everybody in Nigeria, both those who can afford it, the indigent, those who cannot afford it, those in organized private sector, those that are in informal sector. So, and you know, when it was made optional, it was just people that work with MDAs, ministry, department, and agencies of the federal government that were registering. But right now, they are saying we can't achieve universal health coverage when more than 80% of Nigerian populations are in the informal sector. So we had to devise a way of reaching out to those people in the informal sector. And that is what gives back to state agencies. Because you have state workers, we have local government workers in the states. And that is what the state agencies are supposed to cover, you know, get them covered with health insurance. Then we now have people, you know, our people now, you know, is business, most of them are businessmen, they are, you know, guys of their own. So,
exactly.
So there are programs to cover everybody, no matter what you are doing, in preparation to attain universal health coverage, because that's our mandate.
Okay, when you say everybody, does it include that woman in the streets or that one in the market that sells okra or crayfish? Exactly. So how will she access national insurance services?
We actually have programs that have been, you know, customized for every Nigerian. Like in NHIA, we have the former setup program that 2005, where all the employers of federal government were, you know, registered and enrolled, and they were assessing care. Then we came up with an organized private sector program, where we gave opportunity to privately owned companies, small entrepreneurs, 10 workers and above to come on board as a group, and we'll register them and we'll start benefiting. There are health associations encourage to come on board and assess health. Currently in Anambra, we have about 4 functional MHA. We have the one in Anocha, we have Ibuku, we have Ikurobe.
What's MHA? What's
Mutual
MHA?
Health Associations.
Okay, mutual health associations. Okay.
As a group that assess care too. Okay. So we have 4 functional ones in Anambra. And if I may add, you know, I'm talking to the populace now. It's an encouragement for even these social groups to come on board, because just yesterday, federal government released funds to these MHAs. So they help them, you know, they send them money and help them to organize their health care for the year. Then apart from MHA, we have TSHIP, Tertiary Institution Social Health Insurance Program, covering our students, our children in higher institutions. Currently, it's running in the Federal Polytechnic Oko, Federal College of Education, and in Anambra University, currently in Anambra. Then apart from TSHIP, we have the major one that we just developed, GIFTSHIP.
Okay,
Group individual families.
Asking you about GIFTSHIP.
Yes, social health insurance program. It is for the informal sector, because she asked me a question. She said, how do that woman in the village, in the market,
Yes, access
care? They are just supposed to buy GIFTSHIP. GIFTSHIP is individual based. Even if you are a vulcanizer, you are a mechanic, on your own, you can walk up to us and buy GIFTSHIP. I'm
just wondering, you mentioned all the sectors,
yes.
that you're covering all the sectors.
Yes.
And I keep wondering, you know, that mechanic man, man in his workshop that you mentioned,
yeah.
How did he get to know about this scheme? How did he get to know?
Okay. It's mainly by sensitization.
Okay. Have you been able to sensitize?
Out in the street, we are always, in the streets, talking to people, we advertise through radio, television, national and otherwise. We do advocacy visits in council and PGs. And we go to, even on market days, we go to villages, our road show. So we've been surprising them. It's surprising so many are coming on board.
Okay.
And when you started, that's this one of the inclusions we have in the new in the changes you made is that whether you can afford it or not. So what about those that cannot afford it?
Exactly. For those who cannot afford it, I've mentioned Basic Healthcare Provision Fund. That it's a fund from federal government. 1% of consolidated revenue, consolidated all over, is kept every year for us to fund healthcare for the indigent. Then this our new also gave authority for us to have a vulnerable group fund, and that's like a second fund to basic healthcare. And this vulnerable group fund, is supposed to be funded by donor agencies, more people. Basic healthcare, as I said, is money we give us. That will cover certain level of. Now, with the vulnerable fund that's coming up, we're going to push it to the state agencies, and there will be a massive enrollment of indigent Nigeria. Massive enrollment of indigent Nigeria.
Those people have claimed the health insurance about basic health. And I keep wondering, government is pushing that 1% out into healthcare system for the indigent. Have you been able to take a look at how far you've gone?
Yeah.
What has been the benefit to those you designed it for? Are you impressed by what you saw so far?
Basic healthcare is a laudable project, because it's surprising that for an average Igbo man, you think everybody is rich and that we have a lot of fund, but that basic healthcare provision fund registration and processes exposed us to a lot of us that are suffering in the villages that can't access. People die every day because they can't access care. And payment of out of pocket is extremely high in Anambra State because people don't have access to health insurance, so they pay from their pocket anytime they go to the hospital. So you find out that you keep dropping them into poverty more and more. Assuming somebody is driving a keke driver, and the wife is pregnant and she needs to have a cesarean section, and you're asking him for 200 and something thousand. Invariably, he will sell his keke to use the money to,
save the
wife. And when he does that, after that process, no keke to bring in money again for the family. So you find out that they become poorer than they were before she went to the hospital.
That's true.
So this is something that we are passionate about. And because we see people accessing care through basic health care, you just need to hear their stories. You just need to, it's as if we are doing the impossible, but it's normal thing. It's normal thing that they get hospitals and they get treated and they are better. And it's not that in this part of the world, everything is like magic. So basic health care has been a program so far. From time to time, and we do user satisfaction survey too. We carry out user satisfaction to know the impact.
Is it your office or maybe independently done?
My office.
Have you thought about the MIE coming out from people that are not from your organization?
Exactly. In fact, monitoring and evaluation. We have a team. We have a whole unit that is their job.
Okay.
They go out once in a while to make sure that this hospital, because for basic healthcare, we are actually using the PSCs. Primary healthcare centers in every ward in Anambra.
I wanted to ask
exactly, because I know that's the question. We use the primary healthcare centers in every ward. We have it in every ward in Anambra. Yes. In fact, for Anambra, we did 330 PSCs in Anambra alone. Wow. And this basic healthcare is functioning from these 330 PSCs. You see how grassrooted this program is. So we go to monitor because we have a guideline. In a while, our team will, in fact, my team is out in the field as I speak. They've been out for the past 2 weeks. They've been out for the past 2 weeks, going from one PSC to other to make sure that what we told them to do is exactly what they do. Asha is what they are doing.
Some people have not believed in because they believe that nothing comes from the world, and the way it is, I think it's a free thing. After all, you just pay a few naira notes, and then you go to hospital and all these because the scheme covers you. So, how affordable is this project, and how do you get the money to do this?
The source of the money, like I've explained, is from federal government. So we actually don't even tax anybody on that, and when people go to the hospital, we only expect them to pay, for formal setup program, to pay 10% of whatever medication they are given. Consultation, drug,
after registration,
everything is free.
After registration?
After registration.
You still have to pay for 10% of the drugs given to you?
Yes.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Okay. I mean, if you're meant to pay 10,000 naira for drugs, you now pay
just
1,000.
Okay, fine. Well, when you started talking, you talked about gift ship. Yeah. Tell us more about gift ship and how Nigerians can participate in this gift ship.
Okay, gift ship is our baby. Something I love talking about. Is group, individual, family social health insurance program. Like I said, it's meant for those who have not been hitherto being covered by all the programs of NHIA. And the eligibility is just, people who are eligible to buy that, subscribe to gift ship are those who are self-employed, those who work in unorganized private sector, those who, the retirees, like our parents, when they retire from federal government work or wherever, when they retire, no form of health insurance. Meanwhile, when they were working, they were covered. So retirees can come and buy gift ships too. We have foreigners living in our midst. They are not covered by any of this set of programs. So they are equally free to come and buy gift ship. Then we have our people in diaspora that have their parents and families here. We encourage them to come back to, buy health care for their families, so that it's not all the time they call them on the phone and say, send money, send money. Once you buy health care for your people, you are rest assured that once they are sick, they have a place to go to. Then we have the adopted ones. We call them adopted ones because we encourage the rich in the society to go to the, instead of sharing rice, sharing gari, you know, go and buy them health care. It's just 15,000 per head. Buy them health care and select people in your community that will benefit. We have so many running in Anambra. We have in Ojoto, we have in Obosi, you know. So it's a beautiful thing. Those are the ones that are eligible. Do I need to go?
So was it actually based, was that this process, gift ship, based on needs assessment?
Yes.
Health needs assessment of the communities that you operate in, or maybe the states you operate in?
The truth of the matter is that the health need assessment was done, you know, national. Okay. Because basically we know for a certain age we already know what ailments we expect for a certain age. So all those things were taken into consideration, and they came up with a benefit package, and they came up with a benefit package that will suit everybody. So it's a national health-seeking behavior.
Now let's now talk about how somebody can be an enrollee. Okay. What's the process? What should I do as an individual, you know, to be a part of this? Yes, to be an enrollee. Okay.
You could be an enrollee of a formal setup program, which means you're working with federal government. All you need to do is there must be a desk officer in your organization that you work up to, and that person will call us to come and enroll you, or you walk into our office and say you were working with this establishment. And when you're coming, you're expected to come with your ID card, you know, to identify you, your letter of employment, your photo passport, if you are a federal government employee. Those are the things we expect you to come with. And if you are going to add your spouse, because for federal government program, you are entitled to add your spouse and 4 biological children. And those 4 biological children are supposed to be below the age of 18. So below the age of 18. Because we expect from 18. No, we expect from 18 that person should be in higher institution, and T-ship will take over. Because all our programs are segmented to cover a certain section of Nigerian population.
Now, for somebody who's not married, you know, you're 18, you live on, you know, you live by your on your own, you do everything. How can I benefit, or is it just for families of 2 parents and then 4 children? Okay.
Like I said, the enrollment I just talked about is for formal setup program. Okay. But for gift ship, that is where your question comes in. The person is supposed to actually walk into our office and tell us that she or he needs a health insurance coverage. And we will expect you there and then, while you are there, we generate an RRI. It's just 15,000 per head. Per annum.
15,000 each year?
15,000 each year. You have to renew each year.
Okay.
15,000 per head per annum. But for a starter, we expect you to register 3 members of your family. 45,000 is the lowest you can start with.
3 adults?
No, it doesn't matter. Adult children, so far they are members of your family, but you will pay 45,000 for 3 people. And do you know why we do that? It's for adverse selection. Initially, we were selling the vouchers for just 15,000. You come and pay 15,000, and that is it. Then we notice that people just come buy our vouchers, and in the next month they are using about 400,000. They are taking medication, getting medication for maybe surgery or something for 500,000, 600,000. So when we noticed the trend, it was becoming too much. So we now said, okay, minimum to come on board is 45,000, but it's actually 15,000 per head. Okay. So you see, that gives room to anybody.
So when you bring 3 heads, it's 45,000.
Yes, exactly.
So it is what it is. That's something you said about enrolling in what do you call it now? NHIA.
Yeah.
And then that's if you are working with the federal. So as I am working with the states, I am not entitled to register with.
You are entitled to register with ASHA.
ASHA.
ASHA handles all state employees.
Okay, so can I register with ASHA and still register with...
If you want to add your family members under gift ship, you can come over to us. But for while you are working for yourself, because you are working with the state government, you're supposed to fall under ASHA.
So I can't even extend it to 4 persons. For gift ship, you know, I want to register as an adult who lives alone, works alone, and all these. So am I not entitled to add maybe more than 2 persons.
You are entitled to add 100 people.
So what you need is my 15K.
15K per head.
Times
Per head.
how many persons I brought.
Okay, provided they're not your children.
Plus your children, assuming you are a private person and you want to register you yourself, your husband and your children. That's, you know, the name said gift ship, group, individual and family.
No, not gift ship. Now the normal registration now, like you said, if I'm registering,
Yes.
I'll register for my husband and my 3 children.
You add
or
them.
4.
You add
okay,
them.
I add them. Will I still
Yes.
pay for them?
No, you won't.
So everything will come
Performance
up.
setup program, because you're working with the federal government, they just register yourself. And federal government pays for you anyway.
How much will I pay?
You don't pay
You don't pay
anything
anything.
for now.
Okay.
As far
And
as
that
you are
will cover
6.
your spouse and 4 biological children
Okay.
under the age
So
of 18.
is it the same with Asha? Is it obtainable in Asha too?
In all honesty, I wouldn't want to, let
Okay.
me not
Talk about Asha.
represent them.
All
yes.
right.
All right. All
Now,
right.
are you telling me that your facilities, you know, cuts across all, maybe different communities in Anambra State? Because I'm worried that there may be areas where you're not covered, and then I want to be a part of this scheme, and I don't have the opportunity.
You know, that's a surprise.
How far can you go?
You know, when I told you that we are using 330 PSCs, I saw the surprises on your faces. Exactly. You know,
Honestly.
in Anambra State, we have over 160-something accredited hospitals. And when I mean accredited hospitals, it involves privately owned, public owned, general hospitals. You'll be shocked that there's no cranny in Anambra, no place in Anambra where we do not have accredited hospital.
Are you serious?
No place in Anambra, I'm telling you.
Now, how has the private sector accepted this scheme? Because once government wants to do something and then the private sector feels that, maybe the company or hospital feels that they are being exploited, they wouldn't want to be a part of the scheme. Even if they are forced to do that, they might, start playing hanky-panky. So how have they accepted this in the private sector?
Private sector in terms of the hospital or
Hospitals.
The hospital.
Not the release.
Oh, private hospitals.
Honestly, NHIA has been funding most of the private hospitals in Anambra.
I know.
I'm telling you,
know.
you just need to talk to them. You will be so shocked that most of them are surviving based on the capitation we pay them. Because do you know what we do? If you're a private hospital and you are accredited by us and you have 10,000 enrollee, every month we calculate capitation for that 10,000 enrollee and send to you whether they come to hospital or not.
I know.
So that's where the gain comes.
That's where the gain,
profit.
because that's the business of health insurance.
Yeah.
You accumulate, healthy and everybody accumulate, while few who needs it benefit.
Exactly.
You get what I mean? So you find out that most of the privately owned hospitals in Anambra, I'm telling you, they are proud of the program because we have helped to sustain them. We have helped to make them balance. We've helped
I know
draw
they just need
patients
to
them and
register
all
with
that,
you guys. But this time around, let's see if is it only the hospitals that are under your registration that I can access? What if I stay in a community where none of the hospitals there is...
There must be a hospital there. Once I know where you are, the community where you're coming from, I will give you the list of hospitals around you. You'll
really?
be so surprised. There's no part of Anambra where I don't have accredited hospitals.
Do you know what I want to tell you now? That are of all the state coordinators, I think you are the one that is enjoying the most because this place gives you exactly what you want.
Exactly.
Okay? There are hospitals, accredited hospitals.
I'm proud of Anambra. I have enough hospitals
I'm telling you.
with. I have enough knowledgeable people to work with. Nothing is difficult for me in the state, to be honest.
I know.
Because everything I have is at my back and call.
I tell you. I
All
know.
right, I think we need to have a respite, go have a message from the National Health Insurance Authority. We'll be right back.
GiftShip is a group individual and family social health insurance program. Now, the health insurance is mandatory for every Nigerian. GiftShip allows artisans, traders, farmers, mechanics, business owners, taxi drivers, even keke riders benefit from a range of medical surgeries, medical tests, scans at any preferred NHIA accredited hospital in Nigeria. To enroll, an individual contributes only 45,000 naira per annum. For a family of 3, 45,000 naira per annum. Group of 10 persons and above, 15,000 naira a person per annum. This amount is renewable every year. GiftShip, leaving no one behind.
Okay, welcome back. We are still rolling with our sister in the house as we look at our health.
Your sister Chinyere.
My sister Chinyere. As we look at our health and the way to take care of it. Okay, now after registering Chinyere, when do I start assessing treatment? Okay, like if I register today and I fall sick tomorrow, can I go to hospital and then start assessing the...
Okay, for NHIA, once you register, there must be a waiting period for 90 days. That waiting period
okay, 90 days is 3 months.
3 months. That 90 days is to enable us do all the back-end processes.
That's a long way.
We cut our register once in every 3 months.
Okay.
You know, we are national, not just here. So you imagine the number of data and release that come on board every day. So for that 90 days, that will give us room to get you enrolled, get you in the register, and get the register to your chosen facility. So that once you walk into that facility at the end of that 90 days, your name will be on their list.
How many hospitals am I entitled to?
You are entitled to choose just one hospital.
One?
Yes.
Oh,
But you
wants to
can
go to all the
change.
hospitals.
Assuming you go to a hospital, assuming you go to a hospital and you feel they are not, their customer care is not as good as you want it. Every 6 months you are allowed to come and change.
such a
6
long
months.
Yes,
Very
every
long.
6 months you are allowed to come and change. You won't be sick every. In fact, some people don't even go to hospital
At all.
at all.
Okay, now what if, you know, my registration expires? What is my plight?
Okay.
Am I entitled to continue with the process, or do I have to re-register again?
For gift ship, for people in formal sector, it doesn't expire till they retire. Before their retirement, the system will bring up their name, will inform them that you will be retiring on so time, which means your insurance coverage will end at so time. So we encourage them to come over and buy gift ship, or we sell them other programs that they can, fold into. But for gift ship, like I said, it's just per annum. 3 months before the expiration, we will inform you that your 1 year premium that you paid is expiring on so date. So we expect you 2 months before then to come into the office and renew. If the person doesn't renew and it expires, the person will start that 90 days. If you re-register, you will have to do that 90 days again. So we always encourage people before it expires to renew, so that it will just be a one flow.
Okay, what about the services? What services am I entitled to?
Exactly. Under NHIS, whether you are in formal sector, whether you are in formal sector program, you are in MHA program, you are in gift ship program, you are in T-ship, we have just one benefit package. And that benefit package covers all outpatient and necessary consumables, covers all medication, all drugs and diagnostic tests, covers maternity and delivery, all levels of delivery, whether it's normal delivery or cesarean section, covers all O&G, covers dental care and pain treatment, covers ophthalmology, everything that has to do with your eye to the point of giving spectacle, covers all emergency care. All emergency care is covered by NHIS. Covers all admission, yes, covers all, in fact it covers all level of care, both tertiary, primary, tertiary, secondary and tertiary.
What of surgery?
Surgery, all surgeries are covered.
Really?
Virtually every illness you know is covered by NHIS. Then, originally we never used to cover cancer.
Okay, you started?
Right now we have a program that is running that we call a Medicine Supply Initiative, where we have gone into partnership with some pharmaceutical companies. And for that, cytotoxic drugs, we've gone into arrangement with Roche. And those are cytotoxic drugs which they use for chemotherapy will be supplied to any NHIS enrollee who unfortunately has cancer. And the payment plan is that Roche is writing off 50% of that medication, the cost of that medication. NHIS will write off 30%.
Is it really working?
It is working. Because I have referred people from Anambra to UNTH Enugu, and they are receiving treatment. The enrollee will be expected to pay just 20% of that.
Why Enugu? Why not Anambra as if we're teaching hospitals?
No, for right now we are functioning for this medicine supply initiative. We are using only 14 tertiary institutions in Nigeria. So for Southeast, Nsukka Teaching Hospital.
That's Enugu.
That's Enugu is what we are using for Southeast. Then we also have gone into arrangement with Pfizer for the meropenem pain antibiotics treatment. And all this medication, like I said, the major problem that NHIS, most of our enrollees have, is that they will tell you that the drugs they give them in the hospital are not branded. Now we want to brand every medication you get in the hospital NHIS. So that will eliminate doctors that want to even play fast one on our enrollees. Exactly. Who will give you who insist will give you the branded medication to give to our enrollees. So those are the areas we are moving into seriously.
I actually wanted to ask you, is it only in the cancer cases that you have this partnership with Roche and Pfizer? Why not other areas of health?
Stage by stage, like I said, very soon, every drug you'll be given in the hospital will be branded NHIS.
That's a good one.
Yeah, because people have in the past complained about the drugs they were giving.
Exactly.
They were mandated to buy particular drugs.
No,
and sometimes they're very expensive, and they say that they are ineffective. So now that you've done this, I think it will
now we eliminate all that, because you know what we did. We told the hospitals to be using generic drugs. We don't want to use branded ones and be advertising those heavy brands for them. But you and I know how it is in Nigeria. Doctors will now go and buy very inferior hair, and that has been our major problem. That's why we are doing this medicine supply initiative. We want to take over that aspect of our care provision.
Do you collaborate with NAFDAC, making sure that those drugs are...
Definitely, we are all
working together.
Yes.
Now, have you received any reports on you go to hospital, they write all the drugs for you and they tell you to go and buy it, that they don't have it in stock? Okay, so instead of you enjoying your insurance now, you will still have to put a hand in your pocket to buy drugs.
And that is why I'm going to give out phone numbers here.
Okay, fine.
Once you are in a hospital, you are an NHIA enrollee, and you are being asked to go outside and buy it, you just call me. No matter how much you have spent outside, we will get that money back for you. Because in NHIA, there's nothing like out of stock. The hospital should be able, if they don't have that medication, that drug with them, they should be able to send somebody to a pharmacy to get it for you, or tell you, okay, come back in 1 hour, the medication will be there for you. Not that they will allow you to go. So, and we know it's happening. I know some hospitals, some enrollees are experiencing that. And we tell them, before you make payment, just call us. Let us know that this hospital is asking you to go and buy so medication.
And so we also want to find out, have you been able to penalize some people who go against your laws, practice? I'm
sure some of the hospitals in Anambra, as they are listening to me, that they'll be smiling, because I don't take it easy with hospitals, because those enrollees are my primary responsibility. In fact, that's why I'm in the state. So anything that touches them touches me very badly. So, and you know the art I told you, we'll even be giving more powers to sanction. Initially, we'll come, we enforce, we have all those little things we do to force the hospitals to work. But now, with the authority that we are given, we can even close down a hospital, we can even charge them to court, we can even ask them to pay a certain amount as penalty. So sanctions are, in fact, sanctions are...
Okay, can we get the hotline, any hotlines for complaints or people that want to make contributions towards the success of this project? Okay.
For NHIA here in Anambra, of course, the office is located at 91 6th Avenue here in Oka, the old CBM building. That's where we are in Oka here. Okay. And the phone numbers to reach us on is 081 364 05910.
Okay.
Should I call it again?
Yes.
081 364 05910. Once you are NHIA enrollee and you're experiencing any problem in the field, either with the hospital or the HMO refusing to give you code, or the workers in the hospital not treating you well, please call that line. That is all you need to do. Just call the line.
All right, maybe before we go, you will still call that. But for now, if I register with a particular hospital, which of course you said is only one, and then maybe my job takes me out of the station to maybe on an official duty or even unofficial.
Yeah.
And peradventure, the person falls sick, not me anyway. So what would the person do?
Very simple. Walk into any accredited NHIA hospital. And how do you know our hospitals? We have our emblem boldly pasted on it. Just walk into any NHIA accredited hospital. Tell them that
let's have the emblem on the screen. Yes, okay. Keep talking.
And once you have you tell them your NHIA enrollee, they are supposed to treat you under emergency case with fee for service, which means they will just call your HMO that this your enrollee is here in Ogun State and the person is not feeling very well. He's in our hospital. They will give them code to treat. They know we already.
That's the emblem, right?
Yes, that's the emblem. We already have a way of settling. We already have a way of settling each other, making payments to each other. So it's very, very easy. And another thing I want to say, assuming you're here in Anambra and your husband and children are in Abuja, you can choose a hospital here in Anambra, while your husband and children will choose an alternative hospital in Abuja. It's allowed. Because we know how the work system in Nigeria
it's allowed.
is. It's allowed.
Oh, beautiful.
Yes.
Beautiful.
But if you're with your family, you choose one hospital in one place. But assuming you people are not together, they choose theirs.
They choose there, and I choose here. Okay,
it's
is there any drug? Is there any drug that is not captured in this scheme? That maybe there's a drug, like I've told you, that some people ask you to go and buy outside. So is there any particular one that you will be prescribed for, and then the scheme will tell that, no, we don't cover this?
All drugs are covered, but like we said, we use the generic name. But what happens in most cases is that enrollees walk into hospital, they will not tell you they want Zinat. They will call a brand name. And when the doctor is not prescribing that Zinat, they will not say, that is what I want. Of course, the hospital will tell you it is not covered. But that does not mean they don't have other brands of the some components of Zinat that they can give to you.
Now we have two agencies. One is Anambra, one is national.
Yes.
How do you ensure that there is no clash between your function, the functions? I don't delve into this person's territory and this person doesn't come into my territory. Or do you synergize? Or do you meet at a point?
The truth of the matter is that the goal for the National Health Insurance Authority and ASHA is for universal health coverage. And we have demarcations. Who we are supposed to talk to is demarcated. Everybody knows his field. And like I said, we're a regulator. We are like their parents. Okay. We look after them in the States.
And they rely on you on so many things.
Work hard they had. And I must tell you, that's an agency that I'm so proud of, to be honest.
We took off a long time and we're doing very well. I must tell you. This is a state. Well. So whatever we do, we do it well.
But in Anambra, it's synergy to the highest level. That's what we have.
That's written all over you. The happiness you derive from here.
Well, I think we are almost done with our time. But before we go, we want you to talk to the Anambra. Tell them why they should be a part of this scheme. Why should they seek your service as a National Insurance Health Authority?
My people, the truth of the matter is that healthcare is very, very costly. Very, very, very costly. In the sense that we already know what inflation and everything in Nigeria is turning our healthcare industry to be like. And we can't continue like that. We cannot continue like that. Come and buy health insurance. It's a little money you pay for the time you will need it. And I'm assuring you that when you will need it, you will be like, God, is this possible? Come over and try it and see. There's no other way. Out-of-pocket expenses is more than 70-something% by WHO. We can't continue like that. All these things are pulling us into poverty. Come over and buy health insurance.
The Anambra, the ball is in your court. With the insurance scheme, definitely you take care of the health needs of your family. So it's a go-go, a win-win situation. Go for it.
It is.
I know you're not sick.
No, I can never be sick.
I know. No.
We are strong,
Back to
especially dark-skinned people. We're usually very strong.
Okay, you people are ruling me out.
Oh, no, I'm sorry.
I've just claimed it, I beg, even if I'm not dark-skinned. Yeah.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you, Chinyere. I wanted to ask you that all this benefits and whatever. Is there anything you give us at the end of the day? What if I enroll with you and at the end of the day I never fell sick and anything expires? Will you give me any kind of money? No. Okay. And for the federal enrollee, yes. Do you deduct anything from their salaries?
Right. Originally we were supposed to have started deducting it, but federal government till now is still sending their mandates to us. So they are not deducting anything yet from anybody for years.
Oh, really?
2005.
Okay.
Don't pay a dime.
So this is an insurance that I don't benefit anything at the end of the day?
At the end of the day, if you're not ill, you'll be glad that your little contribution has been used to take care of somebody who is very sick.
You see what I mean?
Thank you.
It's okay. Thank you. Thank you very much.
My name is Ifi Onachukwu.
My name is Ijoma Uche, and we have talked with a very wonderful lady in the house, Mrs. Chinyere Nwakego Aniebo. Okwada Anambra. Imana this special. That's why I'm so proud of her. She is the Deputy Director General, National Health Insurance Authority, and she's also the State Coordinator of NHIA. We'll take some time before Nka Thank you. It's our pleasure hosting you today.
Thank you. Thanks for coming. For now, we're saying bye.
GiftShift is a group individual and family social health insurance program. Now, the health insurance is mandatory for every Nigerian. GiftShift allows artisans, traders, farmers, mechanics, business owners, taxi drivers, even keke riders benefit from a range of medical surgeries, medical tests, scans at any preferred NHIA accredited hospital in Nigeria. To enroll, an individual contributes only 45,000 naira per annum. For a family of 3, 45,000 naira per annum. Group of 10 persons and above, 15,000 naira a person per annum. This amount is renewable every year. GiftShift, leaving no one behind.
This is ABS, Heartbeat of the East.
The way you left me, the way you cared for me, Lord, I lift my hands and thank you. Every time you came through, the way you left me, the way you cared for me,
real.
Lord, I really wanna bless you.
So grateful.
Everything you've done for me,
Lord, every night before I go to sleep, I just sit on my bed and I reminisce. Let's go, 1, 2, I count my blessings.